I said, for coming up to me, and I was like, Atlanta is a great city, and I think you'll do really well.
There
Right?
is.
It wasn't, you thought I was feeling you?
It's real, yo.
Because he could be the next person to shoot up a convenience store or, to do a drive-by because he feels like there's no hope.
That happens.
Because he feels like there's no hope. But like I was like, not me, but somebody else, and you'll do great.
Yeah. That's healing, man.
Right? Because like he's also a part of my community.
Mm-hmm.
What if one day he is my son's basketball coach? We don't think that's another thing women have to think about is like community matters. We all have to think about it. But I think in women's choices of how they procreate, we don't just procreate with a man and then our children are affected, period. Absolutely not. I've taught, I'm not going to say the school system, I've taught in school systems where I was like, oh my God. I saw one dad, I had about 80 kids, all my classes combined. I saw one dad my whole time there, and the children were off the chain. Oh, when I say off the chain, I said I've never been called out of my name until a 12-year-old called me out my name. Man. Multiple times.
Oh, man.
I've never had things thrown at me until that. Yeah. So off the chain. And that's how fathers are very, very extremely important. But for women to think about how is this going to impact my community? If I make a child with a man who doesn't take care of the child, how are we impacting everybody? Because it matters, right? Because of those sexual choices those women made, teachers are burned out.
They didn't want to hear that, man, but that's the truth.
And it's not just a woman thing. You're speaking more to the men. I'm speaking more to the women. Mm-hmm. There is most
balance,
right? There's most definitely be okay with this. There's most definitely a leadership deficit when it comes to Black men, right? Mm-hmm. And there's most definitely a deficit when it comes to women. So we have work. Yeah. I'm speaking of the work women need to do in the sexual realm, in their bodies, and it's so spiritual too. It's not just sex, right? It's all the things that come with it. So as the gatekeepers to the future, we have to think about how is this going to impact the community, right? If you don't procreate with a man who's financially literate, is your community going to be financially literate? If you don't procreate with a man who is safe, is your community going to be safe? Man, like,
that's a different level
of thinking about it. It's huge. You really have to think about all the implications that come with that.
Yo, that's big, because that's a beautiful thing you said, because that's a duty and a responsibility,
right,
of self,
right, that God gave us, that He bestowed to women. That's our power.
Like, community, how is it impacting our community? If I do this, if this happens, yeah.
So really, major key. Let me look in the camera. Really, most people know this. Most men know this too. Mm-hmm. Of like, who, even if a man is the leader of the household, you ask him who really leads the household. Mm-hmm. Look at that smile, because you already know it's the woman, right? Yeah. But if we as women do such a good job of attracting and approving, why do I care? What if it's, if we live out south or out east, you'll make the best decision. Why do I care if they go to this school or that school? You'll make the best decision. Why do I care if you want to change career paths? I already know that you have self-discipline and you're intelligent and you will make it. So I'm not worried. If they took, who does everybody know? If they took Jeff Bezos all his money today, do you think Jeff Bezos would work at McDonald's, or will he just get his money back? Right? It's not the money, it's the character. Yeah. It's the skills that he acquired. It's the knowledge that he has. So, okay. All right.
Man, it's real.
Right? But I approved of him first. Don't just my God, don't just let people out here, oh, he can do whatever. No, you have to approve of him first.
Yep.
But once you approve, let him run wild.
Yes, it's that saying, and I might be saying it wrong. I think it says, it's old school saying, it is she who chooses the man who then chooses her, or something like that.
I don't know. I never heard
you
of that.
You never heard that? It said, it is she who chooses the man who then chooses her.
Right.
So,
yeah. We choose y'all way before you choose us.
Yeah, I like
way
that saying.
before.
I like that saying. Like, okay, I choose you. Now you gotta choose me.
Right.
You know, it's like basically, basing it off of approval. And lastly, I am aware of the time. Is one of my Chapman brothers like to say. The last part of this, just very briefly, you know, you talk about zodiacs and stuff like that. So I like that part. Y'all know I'm a Virgo.
Hey, Cancer.
You know what I'm saying? Corinne. It's a Cancer. You know, and we know that Cancers have a lot of love in their heart.
We do.
You know what I'm saying? They have big hearts. Y'all cry a lot.
We do.
You know?
Okay.
They have a lot going on. In my videos, I talk about like Virgos and Cancers and stuff like that. I talk about everybody.
Right.
But you know, I talk about how well they get along.
It didn't go well for me.
Why not?
Ooh. How much time do we have?
We got a little time. You still want to do some of your own stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't go.
First of all, are you aware of the characteristics of a Cancer?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, 100%. We're water, so that's our element is water. So we're very fluid. We like to move. We like to be by water, but like water is also like we flow. Mm-hmm. That's our thing. We get to flow.
Yeah. Have you ever dealt with a Virgo?
I have.
Oh man,
God bless my soul.
What's
crazy is this man, and let me tell you the power of taking back your sexual power, because we were sexually active and I was in love with this man, right? So, and then I, hadn't talked for a while, and I told him, I said, because I only deal with serious men. So like, that's another reason why I can't say men are terrible. I only deal with a certain type of man now. Yeah. Like, I'm very clear about it. So if you don't step to me a certain way, like you in the most open heart way possible, I'm going to be clear that this is not your path. you won't make it on this one, baby. You're not getting in this one. This is I'm very clear. Have you ever seen, like, there's some neighborhoods that have a small little sign that says don't turn around, keep out. Yeah. That's not me. I'm the gated community. So there's no little sign that you can miss. You have to have a name and you have to have a purpose, right? Hey, so when you go to a gated homes that are gated, there's a security guard and they're going to say, who are you here to see? Yes. Or you already have an access pass, right? You've already been approved. So I don't date or mess with certain men. So I avoid a lot of the things, and that's what I try to help women with, is I avoid a lot of that. So we were sexually active, and then we stopped being sexually active, hadn't talked in a while, and then he just would randomly hit me up. And then one day I told him, you were there. I was outside of Jelani's wedding, and I was Look, we really go back, y'all. We be spending holidays together. Yeah, for real. We got here, man. It's crazy. So I was at Jelani's wedding, and my heart was beating, and I was like, how do I tell this person who I love, and I think he's a beautiful man, and I think that he's going to grow into an amazing man, right? Just not what I'm looking for now. And so...
That's your cousin, Jelani's cousin.
Right. So Jelani, yes, but the man who I'm talking about, I was in the car. So I was at Jelani's wedding, and I was like, okay, what are my desires? And I think women is like full body desire. Like when I close my eyes and like drop out of my head and go to my heart and then like womb and just like all over, like, what do I desire? And it's family. And it's like touch from like a small baby and my husband. Like those are the things that I desire. And so I was like, okay, well, it's really time to stop playing. So outside of Jelani's wedding, I was so nervous, but I had to call him back. And I told him, I said, do not contact me unless you are serious. Because
is this the Virgo?
This is the Virgo, right?
Man, I was like that. Man.
Right? And he was like playing the game. He was like,
hold up, let me.
Right? Down. No, he didn't. And that's when I was like, okay, yeah, so we're not. He thought I was kidding. So that was, how long ago was Jelani's wedding? Like
at least
2 years, a year and a half?
About a year and a half at least.
So he randomly called me and I said, text me and called me. I said, did you mean to call me? He said, yes. Okay. So, and then I called him back. I said, oh, wow. So you got to know, in my head at this stage I'm at, I'm like, wow, this man is either about to like take me out and tell me, girl, I'm proposing, or it's about to be a real serious conversation. He goes, hey. I'm like, hey. And hey. And so maybe tell me that you can tell me the Virgo perspective, because I'm about to tell you the Cancerian and the like serious woman Cancerian in me. He was like, hey. I was like, hey, what's up? He was like, oh, nothing. He was like, oh, nothing. I just miss hearing your voice. I said, are you serious? He said, yeah. I said, oh my God. I said, I'm not sure if I was clear last time, but I was like, let me be crystal clear. We don't do this anymore. And he was like, and I called my friend after. It was a 1-minute phone call. I just needed him to know. I said, we don't do this. And this is a man who I love.
That's a lot, man.
I love him. And I'm like closing my eyes because I may cry. I love him. But for what I desire in a husband, he is not it. And so for my mental, spiritual, emotional well-being, you got to keep it at a minute. Should have been less. And tell him, we don't do this anymore. And I did not extend the offer to call me if he was serious, because that was my last offer. Yeah. No more offers are on the table. But that's the power of being able to see clearly and hear your intuition clearly when you're not, busting it wide open. When you're not, getting your back blown out. Like, that's a whole nother energy, right? Like, you need clarity. And I say that because I want people to know, yes, I've had sex, and yes, it was amazing and it was wonderful. And I'm a better woman because I'm not.
Nah, that's real, man. That's powerful, man. I like his stuff.
So what's the Virgo side? Because the Cancer in me was like, how dare you call me and not send like 1,000 roses to my house? Yeah. I wanted to cry, but then I kept it G. Because I was like, cry over what, girl?
Yeah, Cancer. I did some Cancers. I know Cancer's pretty.
So the Virgo side, what does the Virgo in you say?
The Virgo in me say, I'm just basing it off solely what you telling me. And it's one of our Virgos. One, I don't think he may not thought you was as serious as you were.
Dead.
Because from what I experienced in Cancers, y'all are very emotional. So he may have thought that you just in your emotions in the moment. Like she emotional in the moment. She'll be all right.
She outside a wedding.
She outside a wedding. She seen all the roses and flowers and pomps and circumstances. So she'll be all right. He knew it meant something to you, but he probably didn't think it was to that level. So he probably was like, I'm back off. And, he hit you up. And I think the reason he hit you up, because like I said, he did miss you hearing your voice, because one thing about Cancers, they are very loving. And Cancers have a showering love. We do. And it's very warm. It's hard to detach from.
We do. But the thing about Cancers is, once you out,
you out. I know. And that's and that's the thing, man. Because I say on the channel all the time, I say Cancers, and in just my opinion, I feel like Cancers and Capricorns are like the best match for Virgos. Cancers, because they have a love that they have. Like, it's a very strong love that Virgos need, because Virgos, they deal with a lot of anxiety, depression, all kind of stuff. And Cancers, they just had the ability to love past all of that stuff and really get to the heart of them. So he missed your voice because that was being taken away.
I don't care why that man missed my voice.
You know what I'm saying?
That's his problem.
I know, but it's saying he missed your voice, but he not doing what you say he do. He not stepping up. So that's the one thing too. Virgos love companionship. And sometimes it can be companionship without commitment. It's real. And we love companionship. We love friendship. I got a lot of friends. We love companionship. We love friendship. We love love, stuff like that. So but we can be a little hesitant about commitment sometimes because we overthinkers, right? We think about, is this the right thing? What I'm gonna do? Da da da. We are some super overthinkers, and we just want to make imperfections in our mind. So we want to make sure it's the absolute right decision. We measure twice, cut once type of thing. I don't know if I said it right.
Yeah.
That's what was going on with him. Just me thinking he probably was just like contemplating in his mind, but at the same time, missing your energy, and you shocked him with it. You're like, man. And at the point you presented it to him, he wasn't ready to step up. He wasn't ready to make that decision,
right?
Because it was too much.
I didn't ask him to. I didn't. But here's the thing: I did not ask him to.
Mm-hmm.
I said, if you call me, it needs to be serious.
That's real.
I didn't say you need to get serious. I didn't I think that's another thing that women, we waste so much energy and so much time trying to, men don't really understand words. That's not, y'all don't speak in words. You speak very much in act. See, he heard me and he thought I was being emotional.
Yeah. This shit weird now.
Right? Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that my actions of that last phone call I really do not mean to speak to him. I wish him well. I love him. I'll probably speak to him if I see him on the street. Not probably. I will. Hey, how are you? Keep it pushing. But men don't speak words, right? I'm the best thing you ever find. They don't speak that, right? Men are doers. Men are action oriented. We speak like 70,000 more words than y'all a day, which is crazy. But it's true. That's why men are able to. Hey, girl,
it was a girl.
Like, damn, you bad. Oh, you fine, right? And we hear that.
Yeah,
you're the only one. I love you, right? But you see that man at 12 o'clock at night on a Saturday every other week, right? But you're the only one. But you're the only one, right? Come on now. But that's how we get messed up in a lot of things.
Yeah,
it's because we don't watch his actions. And I tell women all the time. Let me look in the camera. Okay. I tell women all the time, you and men do not speak the same language. Watch that man's actions. You speak English. He speaks Cantonese.
Something else.
You don't even know what he's saying.
Thanks, man.
Actions. I don't listen to a word a man says. Absolutely. I don't. I listen as in receive, and if he needs something, understand and try to meet it. So, if he's like, oh, I don't like to be outside. I love to be outdoors. Oh, I don't like to be outside. I probably won't suggest we go outside. We go on a hike. I'll listen to that. But as far as I love you, the only one I want to marry you. Yeah, until the ring is on my finger, until I've met your mother, until my name is on the deed, until we went to premarital counseling, I don't speak I don't understand.
That's it, man. And there it is, man. That's real. You know what I'm saying? I think these things are very, very real and true. From my conversation today, I heard a lot of action, responsibility, selfness, you know what I'm saying? Getting over yourself, doing some things, some honest things, and I actually was to take these conversations seriously. Hopefully what we said today can help somebody. Yeah. Just take some things from, like I said, we're not gurus. It's just what we learned in life so far. And everybody has a testimony. Everybody has a story. What have you learned from your story?
Right.
What have you learned from your experience? What can you pass on to somebody else? And all that good stuff. Y'all know, like I said, I'm in ministry, ordained, chaplain, all that good stuff. And I talk to people all the time. And one thing I like about what I do is, I could talk to people just all different type of backgrounds because I try to be just real with them.
Right.
So people, I'm telling people come to me all type of situations, all type of stories. I'm like, what? But we talk real. They know ain't no judgment. Because they're like, look, I failed, I did this, I did that. But just hopefully everybody can take something from what we're seeing today. I believe it'll help somebody, and I'll give you the last words. Anything you want to say to the people. Also, make sure you leave your Instagram, your YouTube, and all that social media stuff.
Okay, so handles are Corinne _ love. That's CORINNE _ love. And then the same thing on YouTube. And I have a book coming out. Yes, it's called Sex is Your Superpower. So if you want to learn a little bit more and get into I'm so excited.
Before you get last word, y'all please follow her, because I be listening to stuff like, yo, that's some real stuff. And you can learn a lot. I learn a lot just about what women think and feel and stuff like that. Cause y'all hear me talk about men all the time, but I actually have people I listen to that's women, because I have to learn, So, but she very good at just everything she's talking about, help, self-help, and things like that. But yeah, continue.
So thank you. The last thing I'm going to say is we listen to a lot of podcasts and shows, and most people have something. But what specifically to women and men, women a little bit more, is to be, right? To start to become and to start to embody these things. You can listen to something all day, but if you don't be it, like if you don't be it, you can't transform yourself. So do more than listen, right? Meditate, journal, pray, walk these things out instead of just listening, right, to us. Be it. For women, it's more being. For men, it's more doing. But instead of just listening, be it and feel it and try to embody it. So
it is.
That's the last word I have.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, Corinne, for coming through and doing it with your boy. We've been trying to do this for a minute. So, so we got to do some more of this and just conversation, all that good stuff. And we're going to follow your journey and we're going to make it happen. So, y'all stay with your boy, stay with your girl, and we're going to do that.